I stood frozen in the hallway, my heart pounding as I overheard my brother's voice through the kitchen door. She's always been terrible with money. We can't let her waste this opportunity. This lottery win could set us all up for life. My name is Josephine, and I'd just won $12 million. Nobody was supposed to know yet, but somehow Gideon had found out. Probably through his connections at the bank where I'd deposited the check yesterday. She owes us, my mother Sierra chimed in, after everything we've done for her, all the sacrifices we made for her art school. I pressed my back against the wall, willing myself to keep breathing. The irony wasn't lost on me. They'd fought against my attending art school every step of the way. Gideon's business degree had been the priority, draining the college fund our grandparents had left for both of us. "We need to approach this carefully," my father Gerald said. "You know how sensitive she can be. Remember the tantrum she threw when we sold her paintings to pay for Gideon's startup?" My fingers curled into fists. Those paintings had been my first gallery collection. I'd come home to find my studio empty, a check on the table. "For your own good," the note had read. "Time to grow up." "I'll talk to her," Gideon said confidently. "She always listens to me." I almost laughed. The golden child, the chosen one, so certain of his power over his little sister. The same sister who'd spent years living in his shadow, watching him take and take while I was expected to give and give. My phone buzzed, a text from Anne. "Did you tell them yet?" "They found out," I typed back. "Plotting in the kitchen right now." 3 dots appeared immediately. "Remember the plan. Stay strong. You've got this." I straightened my spine and pushed open the kitchen door. The conversation died instantly. 3 pairs of eyes turned to me, faces arranged in careful smiles. "Joey!" Gideon stepped forward, arms open. "We were just talking about you." I heard. I moved past his attempted embrace to pour myself coffee. Interesting conversation. The silence was delicious. I turned to face them, leaning against the counter. Mother's fingers twisted her pearl necklace, her tell when she's nervous. Father suddenly found his newspaper fascinating. Only Gideon maintained eye contact, that familiar calculating look in his eyes. "Look, sis," he started, using his boardroom voice. "We should discuss this as a family. 12 million is a lot of responsibility. Like the responsibility you took with my gallery earnings." I sipped my coffee. "Or my college fund." "That's ancient history," Mother cut in. "We did what was best for the family. Gideon's business. Failed spectacularly," I finished. "Just like the 3 ventures after that. How much of my money went into those again?" Father slammed his paper down. "Now see here, young lady." "No, you see here." My voice was steady, surprising even me. "My lottery ticket, my money, my decision. And right now, my decision is to leave this conversation." Gideon stepped into my path as I moved toward the door. "Joey, be reasonable. We're family. We look out for each other." I met his eyes. "Funny how that only works one way." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I'm done being the family ATM." I stepped around him. "And Gideon, if you ever access my private banking information again, I'll press charges, family or not." I walked out, leaving them sputtering behind me. My phone buzzed again, Anne sending a gif of a woman dropping a microphone. In my car, I finally let out the breath I'd been holding. The first confrontation was over, but the war was just beginning. They didn't know about the meeting I had scheduled with Scarlett Graham tomorrow, or the trust fund I was setting up. They had no idea that their precious family ATM was about to become something much more interesting. I started the engine, smiling as I remembered the look on Gideon's face when I mentioned pressing charges. For the first time in my life, I held all the cards, and I was going to play them exactly how I wanted. Time to grow up, they'd told me years ago. Well, I had grown up, just not in the way they'd expected. I pulled out my phone and called Reagan. "Hey, cousin, still want to help me shake up the family tree?" Her laugh crackled through the speaker. "Honey, I've been waiting years for this. When do we start?" "Right now," I said, pulling out of the driveway. "Meet me at Anne's. We've got some planning to do." Anne's apartment was our sanctuary, the one place my family would never think to look for me. Reagan sprawled on the couch while Anne poured wine, her cat watching us from the windowsill. So they actually tried to ambush you in the kitchen. Anne handed me a glass. That's next level even for them. You should have seen Gideon's face when I threatened legal action. I took a long sip. Pretty sure that's the first time anyone's ever stood up to him, Reagan snorted. About time. Remember when he convinced Uncle Gerald to invest my inheritance in that ridiculous crypto scheme? God, that was awful, I said. Did he ever pay you back? Please. He said the market crash wasn't his fault and that family supports family through tough times. Reagan made air quotes with her fingers. Meanwhile, he bought that Tesla the next month. My phone buzzed. Another text from Mother. Family dinner tonight. Non-negotiable. Your father insists. They're not wasting any time. I showed the others the message. Anne sat forward. You're not going, right? Oh, I'm going. I smiled. They want to talk about family obligations. Let's talk. I'm coming with you, Reagan declared. They can't gang up on you if there's backup. The dinner table that evening felt like a battlefield. Mother had prepared Gideon's favourites, as usual. Father sat at the head, trying to look stern but mostly managing constipated. Gideon arrived last, briefcase in hand like this was a business meeting. Nice of you to grace us with your presence, sis, he said, sliding into his seat. And Reagan! What a surprise. Wouldn't miss it, Reagan smiled sweetly. Family supports family, right? Mother's fork clattered against her plate. Well, since we're all here, we should discuss the elephant in the room. You mean Gideon accessing my private banking information? I took a bite of potatoes. Yes, let's discuss that. That's not, Father started, but Gideon cut him off. I was concerned, Joey. You've never handled large sums well? Like the 10,000 you borrowed for your foolproof startup, Reagan interjected. How did that work out again? This is different, Mother snapped. Josephine, your brother has experience in financial management. He could help. Help himself to my money? I put down my fork. Like he helped himself to my college fund? My art earnings? Gideon opened his briefcase, pulling out papers. I've drawn up a proposal for family investment opportunities. No. The word cut through the room like a knife. What did you say? Father's face was turning red. I said no. I stood up slowly. No to your proposals, no to your guilt trips, no to your manipulation. My money, my choice. After everything we've done for you, Mother's voice cracked. We raised you to be Gideon's personal piggy bank? Reagan stood beside me. To sacrifice everything while he risks nothing. Gideon slammed his hands on the table. You ungrateful little... Careful, brother dear. I pulled out my phone. I recorded our entire conversation in the kitchen this morning, including your admission about accessing my account. Would the bank board appreciate hearing that? The colour drained from his face. Father started to speak, but I held up my hand. I'm done. You want to know my plans for the money? Come to the family reunion next month. I'll announce everything then. This isn't over, Gideon growled. Oh, it is. I headed for the door, Reagan right behind me. And Gideon? Those investment proposals? They'd make great kindling. In the car, Reagan burst out laughing. Did you see their faces? Priceless. I wasn't bluffing about the recording. I pulled it up on my phone. Anne's idea. Said we might need insurance. Smart girl, Reagan squeezed my shoulder. You know they'll make the reunion hell, right? Let them try. I started the engine. They have no idea what's coming. My phone lit up with a message from Scarlett. Trust fund paperwork ready for review tomorrow. This is going to change lives. Yes, I whispered, thinking of all the aspiring artists who'd benefit from what I was about to do. It really is. Reagan peered at my expression. That's your plotting face. What are you planning? Justice, I said, pulling away from my parents' house, but not the kind they're expecting. Behind us, I could see Gideon watching from the window, his silhouette rigid with anger. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel small under his gaze. The power had shifted, and he knew it. The war was far from over. But tonight's battle, that was definitely mine. Scarlett's office felt like a fortress of glass and steel, 30 floors above the city. She spread the trust fund documents across her desk while Reagan paced behind my chair. So, to be clear, Scarlett adjusted her glasses, you want to establish a foundation supporting female artists who've faced financial barriers to their education. Poetic, isn't it? Reagan stopped pacing. Using the money they tried to take to help others, they would have dismissed. The annual grants will cover tuition, supplies, and living expenses, I explained. Plus mentorship opportunities through established galleries. Scarlett smiled. Like the opportunities you were denied. A memory flashed. Standing in my empty studio, tears streaming down my face as Mother explained how they'd sold everything to fund Gideon's latest venture. It's for the best, dear. Art won't pay the bills. My phone buzzed. Gideon again. Third call today. He's getting desperate, Reagan noted. Want to hear what he told me this morning? Do I? He suggested I talk some sense into you. Said there might be a finder's fee if I could convince you to invest in his new tech startup. Scarlett raised an eyebrow. Your brother sounds charming. That's not even the worst, Reagan's phone chimed. Her face darkened as she read the message. Joey, we have a problem. She handed me her phone. It was a family group chat I wasn't part of. Gideon had sent a long message about his concerns for my mental health, suggesting my lottery win had made me unstable and paranoid. Classic gaslighting, Scarlett said, reading over my shoulder. He's trying to discredit you before you can announce your plans. It gets better, Reagan scrolled down. He's convinced Mom and Dad to stage an intervention at Sunday brunch. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Let me guess. They'll try to convince me to sign over control of the money for my own good. We need to move faster, Scarlett gathered the papers. I can have everything legally locked in by Friday. Once the trust is established, they can't touch it. My phone lit up with a text from Anne. SOS. Your mum just left my place. She was asking weird questions about your state of mind lately. Watch your back. They're building a case, Reagan said quietly, trying to prove you're not competent to manage the money. They won't succeed, Scarlett's voice was steel. We have documentation of your brother's financial misconduct, witness statements about the art studio incident, and proof of his unauthorized access to your accounts. But that's not enough, is it? I stood up, moving to the window. They'll keep coming until they get what they want. Unless, Reagan's eyes lit up, unless we give them exactly what they don't want. Publicity. What do you mean? The family reunion. Don't just announce the trust fund. Make it an event. Invite the local press, arts community leaders, potential grant recipients. Make it so public they can't possibly interfere without exposing themselves. Scarlett was already typing on her laptop. I have media contacts. We could frame it as a heartwarming story about giving back to the community. The press loves that angle. My phone buzzed again. Father this time. Your mother is very upset. This behavior needs to stop. Think about what you're doing to the family. The family? I showed them the message. They want to talk about family. Let's give them something to talk about. I'll start the press releases, Scarlett said. Reagan, can you compile a list of potential grant recipients? Real stories will make this more impactful. On it, Reagan paused. What about Sunday's ambush? Oh, I'll be there. I smiled, feeling stronger than I had in years. But they're in for a surprise. Anne's coming too, with her lawyer friend who specializes in financial abuse cases. They won't know what hit them, Reagan grinned. As we left Scarlett's office, another memory surfaced. Gideon at my first art show, smirking as he told my potential buyers that my work was just a hobby. The way he'd smiled when they walked away. But this time, the memory didn't hurt. This time, it fueled me. Ready for Sunday? Reagan asked as we reached our cars. More than ready. I checked my phone. 7 missed calls from Gideon now. Time to show them what their unstable sister can really do. They have no idea, Reagan laughed. No idea at all. We parted ways, but not before she hugged me tight. You're not alone this time, Joey, remember that. Driving home, I felt lighter somehow. They thought they could break me, discredit me, control me. But they'd forgotten something important. Sometimes the people you underestimate the most are the ones you should fear the most. Sunday couldn't come fast enough. Sunday brunch looked like a war council. Mother had arranged her finest china, as if expensive plates could soften what was coming. Anne sat beside me, her lawyer friend Maria, on my other side. Gideon's face soured when he saw them. "This is a family matter," he said sharply. "Then it's good I brought my chosen family." I smiled, pouring coffee. "Shall we begin?" Father cleared his throat. "Josephine, we're worried about you. These past few weeks, your behavior—" "My behavior?" I set down my cup. "Let's talk about behaviors. Like unauthorized banking access? Or selling someone's art without permission?" "That's exactly what we mean," Mother jumped in. "You've become so hostile. Ever since the lottery." "I have documentation," Maria spoke up, opening her briefcase, "of multiple instances of financial exploitation. Would you like to review them?" Gideon's face reddened. "Who do you think you are?" "Maria Rodriguez, financial abuse specialist. And you must be Gideon, the brother who accessed private banking records illegally." The room temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. "We're trying to help you," Mother's voice quivered. "You're not thinking clearly." "Actually," Anne pulled out her phone, "I've been recording Josephine's mental state for weeks. As her closest friend, I can testify she's never been more clear-headed." "This is ridiculous," Gideon stood up. "Joey, if you don't stop this nonsense—" "You'll what?" I met his gaze. "Sell my belongings again? Drain my accounts?" "Sorry, brother, but those days are over." Father slammed his hand on the table. "Enough! We're your family. We know what's best." "Like you knew what was best when you let Gideon take my college fund." I pulled out a folder. "I have the bank statements, Dad. Every withdrawal, every transfer to his failed businesses." "Those were investments in the family's future," Gideon protested. "No," Maria interjected. "Those were unauthorized appropriations of designated educational funds. Would you like to discuss the legal implications?" Mother started crying, her favorite tactic when losing control. "How can you do this to us after everything you've done for me?" I laughed. "Let's make a list. Shall we start with the art studio incident?" Anne pulled up photos on her phone. "I documented the empty studio that day. Current market value of the sold pieces would be around $100,000. "You're twisting everything," Gideon snarled. "This isn't you, Joey. You need help." "The only thing I need," I stood up slowly, "is for you all to listen carefully. The money is mine. It's already been legally allocated. And if you try to interfere, if you spread one more rumor about my mental state, these documents go public." "You wouldn't dare," Father's face paled. "Think of the family name." "Think of your reputation," I countered. "Local businessman exploits sister's art career, attempts financial manipulation after lottery win. Imagine those headlines." "You're bluffing," Gideon said, but his voice wavered. Maria pulled out more papers. "Would you like to see the press release drafts? We have 3 newspapers interested already." Mother's teacup clattered against its saucer. "Josephine, please." "The family reunion is in 2 weeks." I gathered my things. "I'll announce my plans then. You're welcome to attend as long as you behave." "And if we don't?" Gideon challenged. "Then the press gets an even juicier story." I headed for the door, Anne and Maria flanking me. "Your choice." Reagan was waiting in her car outside. "How'd it go?" "Better than expected," Anne grinned. "Maria was brilliant." "They'll retaliate," I said, watching Gideon storm out to his car. "This isn't over." My phone buzzed. A text from Scarlett. "Trust fund paperwork filed. It's official. They can't touch it now." "Let them try something," Maria said, showing me her business card. "I've been wanting to take on a case like this." We watched Gideon peel out of the driveway, Father shouting after him from the porch. Mother stood in the window, still crying. 2 weeks, Reagan said. "Think they'll show up at the reunion?" "Oh, they'll come," I replied. "Their pride won't let them stay away. But for the first time, they'll have to play by my rules." Anne squeezed my hand. "Ready for the next round?" I thought about the trust fund, already processing its first grant applications. About the young artists who would get the chances I never had. About Gideon's face when he realized he'd lost control. More than ready, I said. The real show's about to begin. As we drove away, I caught a last glimpse of my childhood home in the rearview mirror. It looked smaller somehow, less intimidating, just like the people inside it. The war wasn't over, but today's victory? That was just the beginning. The week before the reunion, Mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. She looked smaller somehow, clutching her designer handbag like a shield. "Can I come in?" Her voice trembled. "Please, Joey, just to talk." I left her standing in my living room while I made coffee. Through the kitchen doorway, I watched her examine my newest paintings, scenes of broken piggy banks and empty frames. "These are different," she said carefully. "They're selling well." I handed her a mug. "My gallery show next month is already sold out." "A show?" She blinked. "You never told us." "Would you have come?" Her silence was answer enough. "Joey, I found your old sketchbook yesterday." She pulled it from her bag. My childhood drawings, pages worn and yellowed. "Do you remember how you used to draw us all as superheroes?" I remember Gideon ripping out the pages he didn't like. "We didn't mean—" she started, then stopped. "We thought we were doing what was best." "Best for who, Mom?" Before she could answer, my phone buzzed. A message from Scarlett. "First grant recipient selected. 19-year-old artist. Parents sold her equipment to pay for brother's college." Sound familiar? "Is that about the trust fund?" Mother tried to peek at my screen. "Gideon says you're wasting the money on strangers instead of family." "Of course he does." I put my phone away. "Tell me something, Mom. Why did you really come here?" She set down her untouched coffee. "Your father is worried about the reunion. About what you might say." "The truth, you mean?" "There are things you don't understand," she pleaded. "Your brother, he's under so much pressure." And I wasn't. I walked to my paintings. When you sold my first collection? When you told me art was a waste of time? When you watched Gideon take everything I'd worked for? "He's your brother. And I'm your daughter." The words exploded out of me. "Did you ever think about that? Did you ever once put me first?" The doorbell rang. Anne, right on schedule. We'd planned this, knowing Mother would try one last manipulation. "Mrs. Collins." Anne nodded coolly as she entered. "Perfect timing. Joey, the reporter, is ready for your interview about the trust fund." Mother's face went pale. "Reporter?" "For the arts section," I said. "They're very interested in how family experiences shaped my decision to help other artists." "You can't," she stood up. "Joey, please, think about what this will do to us." "Like you thought about what selling my art would do to me." "That was different. We needed the money for Gideon," Anne finished. "It's always been for Gideon, hasn't it?" Mother grabbed my arm. "He's your brother. Family stands together." I gently removed her hand. "No, Mom. Family stands up for each other. There's a difference." "The reporter's waiting," Anne reminded me. "You can't do this interview," Mother's voice cracked. "I forbid it." I laughed. Actually laughed. "I'm not that little girl anymore, Mom. You can't forbid me from anything." "Then you leave us no choice." She straightened her spine. "Your father has already spoken to his lawyers. If you persist with this publicity stunt—" "Let me stop you there." I pulled out my phone, showing her the recording app. "Want to finish that threat on record?" She stared at the phone, then at me, like she was seeing me for the first time. "What happened to my sweet little girl?" "She grew up," Anne answered. "No thanks to you." Mother fled, leaving her expensive handbag behind. Through my window, I watched her hurry to her car, dabbing at her eyes with a silk handkerchief. "You okay?" Anne squeezed my shoulder. "Better than okay." I picked up the forgotten sketchbook. "I'd forgotten about these drawings. Superhero family, huh?" She flipped through the pages. "Guess you were the only real hero in the end." My phone buzzed again, Reagan this time. "Gideon's making calls, trying to get family members to boycott the reunion." "Let him try," I texted back. "More room for the press." Anne closed the sketchbook. "Ready for your interview?" I looked at my paintings. Broken piggy banks and empty frames, now symbols of liberation rather than loss. "Actually, I want to show the reporter these first." Time to tell the whole story. They won't like that. They haven't liked anything I've done since I stopped being their ATM. I grabbed my keys. Might as well give them something real to complain about. As we left, I glanced at Mother's abandoned handbag. Inside, the old sketchbook waited, a reminder of the girl I'd been and the woman I'd become. Sometimes the best revenge isn't fighting back. Sometimes it's simply becoming who you were meant to be all along. The day before the reunion, Gideon cornered me at my favourite coffee shop. He slid into the seat across from me, that familiar shark-like smile in place. "We need to talk, little sister." "No, we really don't." I kept scrolling through the grant applications on my tablet. "Look at you playing businesswoman." He leaned forward. "But we both know you're in over your head. Let me help." "Like you helped with my college fund? Ancient history." He waved his hand dismissively. "I've got a real opportunity here. Tech startup, guaranteed returns." "The answer is no." His smile tightened. "I wasn't asking." "Are you threatening me?" I raised my phone. "Should I record this conversation too?" Before he could respond, Scarlett walked in. We'd planned this meeting knowing Gideon would try something. "Josephine, perfect timing." She sat down, spreading papers across the table. "The press releases are ready, and the first grant recipient wants to share her story at tomorrow's announcement." Gideon's face darkened. "What press release?" "Oh, didn't Joey tell you?" Scarlett smiled professionally. "We're announcing the trust fund at the reunion. 3 major newspapers, local TV, arts community leaders, quite the event." "You can't—" Actually, she can. Scarlett pulled out more documents. "Everything's legally binding. Would you like to see the paperwork?" My phone buzzed. Reagan. "Heads up. Your dad's trying to get the venue to cancel tomorrow's reservation." "Already handled," I texted back. "Venue owner's daughter is one of our first grant recipients." Gideon was still talking, his voice rising. "This is family business. You have no right—" "I have every right," I cut him off. "And tomorrow, everyone will know exactly what kind of family business you've been running." "Is that a threat?" "No, it's a promise." I gathered my things. "See you tomorrow, brother dear. Try not to have any more guaranteed business failures before then." He grabbed my arm as I stood. "You're making a big mistake." "The only mistake," Scarlett said sharply, "would be leaving marks before your sister's TV interview tomorrow." He released me like I'd burned him. As we walked out, I could feel his glare burning holes in my back. Outside, my phone rang. Anne. "Your mum's here at my place, crying about family loyalty and tradition." "Let me guess. She wants you to talk me out of tomorrow?" "Bingo. She brought photo albums, Joey." "Photo albums?" I laughed despite myself. "Stay strong. Only 24 hours to go." Scarlett touched my arm. "Speaking of which, we should review your speech one more time." At her office, Reagan was waiting with coffee and determination. "Gideon's been calling everyone in the family, trying to paint you as unstable again." "Show them this." Scarlett handed me the morning paper. There, in the arts section, was my interview. The headline read, "Lottery winner turns personal pain into community gain." "He's going to lose it when he sees this," Reagan grinned. My phone lit up with a text from Father. "This ends now. Come home immediately." "Still giving orders," I showed them the message. "Still expecting obedience." "Not this time," Scarlett said firmly. "Everything's ready for tomorrow. Security's arranged, press is confirmed, and the grant recipients are prepared to share their stories." Another text buzzed through, an unknown number. "This is Maria. Your brother just called my office trying to get information about our meetings. Don't worry, client confidentiality is sacred." "He's desperate," Reagan noted. "They all are." "Good." I stood by the window, watching the city below. Let them feel what I felt all those years. Scarlett's printer hummed, spitting out tomorrow's program. The trust fund's name stood out in bold letters. The Phoenix Foundation, rising from the ashes of art suppression. Perfect timing, Reagan picked up the program. Nothing like a little symbolism to drive the point home. My phone buzzed one final time. Gideon again. "Last chance, Joey. Don't make me do something we'll both regret." Save that one, Scarlett advised. Threats make excellent press fodder. Outside, the sun was setting on the last day of my family's control over my life. Tomorrow would bring either reconciliation or complete severance. Either way, I'd be free. Ready for tomorrow? Reagan asked softly. I thought about Mother with her photo albums, Father with his orders, and Gideon with his threats. Then I thought about the young artists who would benefit from the trust fund, who would never have to feel what I felt. More than ready, I replied. Time to show them what rising from the ashes really looks like. The war was almost over. Tomorrow would decide the victor once and for all. The family reunion venue buzzed with tension. Camera crews set up in the corners while reporters mingled with guests. Gideon stood with our parents near the entrance, his face stormy as he watched more press arrive. Ready? Anne squeezed my hand. Born ready. I adjusted my microphone. Scarlett had insisted on professional sound for the announcement. The first grant recipient, Sarah, approached me nervously. Are you sure about this? Your brother looks angry. Let him be angry. I smiled at the young artist. Today isn't about him, Reagan rushed over. Heads up, Gideon's trying to convince the cameramen to pack up, offering them money to leave. Too late for that, Scarlett appeared, tablet in hand. We're live streaming too. 3,000 viewers already waiting. Mother intercepted me as I walked toward the podium. Please, Joey, think about what you're doing to this family. I am thinking about family, Mom, just not the way you want me to. If you do this, she grabbed my arm. You'll what? I kept my voice steady. Sell my art, take my money, control my life. Those days are over. Father appeared behind her. Young lady, you will not. Actually, I will. I gestured to the reporters, and everyone's about to hear exactly why. The microphone crackled as I took the stage. Faces turned toward me. Family members, press, art community leaders. Gideon stood at the back, phone to his ear, probably trying one last desperate move to stop this. Thank you all for coming, I began. Today isn't just about announcing a trust fund. It's about breaking cycles of control and creating new opportunities. Camera flashes popped as I continued. The Phoenix Foundation will provide grants to artists whose families have suppressed their dreams. Artists like Sarah, who's here today to share her story. Sarah stepped forward, her voice shaking but strong. My parents sold my equipment to pay for my brother's business degree. They said art wouldn't pay the bills. Enough! Gideon stormed toward the stage. This is ridiculous. Is it? I held up my old sketchbook. As ridiculous as selling your sister's entire art collection without permission, as ridiculous as taking her college fund for your failed startups, the crowd murmured. Reporters' pens scratched frantically. You're twisting everything, he snarled. I did what was best for who? Reagan stood up. For Joey? Or for yourself? Mother started crying, right on cue. Please stop this. No, Mom. For once, you're going to listen. I opened the sketchbook. See these drawings? The ones Gideon ripped out? Each one represents a dream you tried to kill. But here's the thing about dreams. Sometimes they rise from the ashes stronger than ever. Sarah joined me on stage, along with 2 other grant recipients. The Phoenix Foundation isn't just about money, she announced. It's about recognition, support, and breaking free from those who try to clip our wings. This is your last warning, Gideon threatened, but his voice cracked. No, I met his eyes. This is yours. The foundation launches today. The first round of grants has already been awarded. And your control over my life? That ends right now. Cameras swiveled to capture Gideon's face as he truly realized, that he'd lost. But family, Mother whispered. Yes, Mom. Family. I gestured to Anne, Reagan, and Scarlett. The family that supports you, believes in you, helps you rise instead of holding you down, that's the family I choose. The applause started slowly, then built to a roar. Sarah hugged me, tears streaming down her face. Reporters surged forward with questions. Through it all, I watched my blood family retreat toward the door. Father's shoulders slumped, Mother dabbing her eyes, and Gideon, for the first time in his life, looking small. "Miss Collins," a reporter called out. "What inspired the foundation's name?" I looked at my paintings displayed around the room, broken piggy banks transformed into soaring phoenixes. "Sometimes," I said, "you have to burn everything down to build something better." The live stream counter hit 10,000 viewers as I announced the full details of the grants. Each recipient shared their story, each one echoing my own journey from suppression to freedom. After the cameras stopped rolling, Anne hugged me tight. "You did it." "We did it," I corrected, watching Sarah excitedly discuss her art with a gallery owner. Reagan appeared with her phone. "Twitter's blowing up. Your story's trending." "Good," Scarlett smiled. "The more attention, the more artists we can help." Through the window, I saw my blood family getting into their cars. They looked defeated, diminished. But for the first time, seeing them walk away didn't hurt. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your oppressors. Sometimes it's about creating something so beautiful from the ashes of their control that they're forced to watch you soar. And soar I would. The gallery buzzed with excitement as Sarah unveiled her first major collection. Through the crowd, I spotted a familiar figure lingering near the entrance, Mother clutching her purse like always. "Want me to ask her to leave?" Anne appeared at my side. "No?" I watched Mother drift toward one of Sarah's paintings. Let her see what she tried to prevent. The piece Mother studied was striking, a young girl releasing butterflies from a shattered cage. The plaque beneath it read, "First Grant Recipient, Phoenix Foundation." "It's beautiful," Mother whispered as I approached. "Like your early work." "The work you sold?" She flinched. "Joey, save it." I nodded towards Sarah, who was beaming as she spoke with art critics. "Watch her instead. Watch what happens when someone believes in an artist." "Gideon filed for bankruptcy," she said suddenly. "His last venture? It didn't work out." "I know. Reagan told me he tried to contact the foundation for a grant. And we don't fund failed tech startups." Mother's laugh surprised us both, short but genuine. "You've changed." "No, Mom. I've become who I always was. You just never saw me." Scarlett waved from across the room, gesturing to the reporters gathering for Sarah's interview. The Phoenix Foundation had funded 10 artists now, each success story building our reputation. "Your father misses you," Mother tried again. "Does he miss me? Or the money he thought I'd give him?" Before she could answer, Sarah bounded over. "Joey, the Times critic wants—" "Oh." She stopped short, recognizing Mother from the reunion photos. "Sarah, this is my mother. Mom, meet our first success story." Sarah straightened her spine. "Your daughter changed my life, Mrs. Collins. She showed me that family isn't about control, it's about lifting each other up." Mother's eyes glistened. "She always was stubborn about helping others." "No," I corrected. "I was stubborn about surviving you and Gideon. Helping others? That's just basic humanity." Reagan appeared with her tablet. "Sorry to interrupt, but you need to see this." She showed us a social media post from Gideon. "Family is about forgiveness, ready to admit my mistakes. A Phoenix Foundation? Can we talk?" "Interesting timing," Anne noted, joining us. "Right when his last startup tanks." "He means it," Mother insisted. "He's changed. Like he changed after the college fund? Or after selling my art?" I handed the tablet back to Reagan. "Actions speak louder than tweets." The gallery director called for attention. Time for Sarah's speech. As the crowd gathered, Mother caught my arm. "What do you want from us, Joey? What will it take?" I watched Sarah take the podium, confident and radiant. "Nothing, Mom. I don't want anything from you anymore. That's the whole point." "But we're family." "Yes, you are." I gestured around the gallery. "And this is my legacy. Not Gideon's failed ventures or your controlling love. This, art, surviving, thriving, breaking free." Sarah's voice filled the space. "The Phoenix Foundation taught me that our art isn't just a hobby. Our dreams aren't negotiable. Our voices matter." Mother dabbed her eyes. "You really don't need us anymore, do you?" I never needed you to control me. I needed you to believe in me. There's a difference. The crowd applauded as Sarah finished. She'd sold every piece in her collection, a success by any measure. As photographers captured the moment, I saw Mother slip quietly toward the exit. "Mom!" I called after her. She turned. "Tell Gideon that the foundation runs workshops on financial responsibility. He might learn something." A ghost of a smile crossed her face. "You really are extraordinary, Joey. I'm sorry I never saw it before." After she left, Anne hugged me. "You okay?" Better than okay. I watched Sarah sign her first major sale. This is what winning feels like. Reagan checked her phone. Gideon deleted his tweet. Of course he did. I smiled. Some people never change. But some people do. Scarlett joined us, champagne in hand. The foundation just received 3 new corporate sponsorships after Sarah's story broke. Around us, the gallery hummed with possibility. Artists and critics mingled, dreams took flight, and somewhere in the city, my family was finally facing the truth. They hadn't broken me. They'd forged me. To the Phoenix Foundation, Anne raised her glass. "No," I corrected, watching Sarah hug her parents who'd learned to believe in her, to rising from the ashes, all of us together. The evening light painted shadows like wings on the gallery walls. Outside, Mother's car pulled away, carrying the last remnants of my old life with it. But inside was all future, all possibility, all freedom. Sometimes the best endings aren't about forgiveness or reconciliation. Sometimes they're about standing in your truth and letting others figure out how to deal with it. I'd finally learned to soar. Whether my family chose to watch or look away, that was their journey now, not mine.